Welcome back for another bookish video. I wanted to talk about a couple of books that I'm looking forward to in 2025, but then mostly go over the planner that I'm going to be using and talk about my particular reading goals for the year, which is a little bit different than my overall goals and kind of what those have to do with my witchcraft practice. This video is just going to be about sort of the reading portion. Okay, first I want to talk quickly about some books that I am looking forward to because I think it's a lot of the really popular ones that are going to be coming out. Some I want to put on your radar, but then also I really just want to ask, let me know in the comments what you are looking forward to, what I should add to my list to read in 2025. Obviously, two that everybody's looking forward to, Onyx Storm is end of January, and Sunrise on the Reaping, continuing on in the Hunger Games world. I know everybody's looking forward to both of those, and I also know that my husband already pre-ordered them for me. They're part of my Yule Christmas gift. So I cannot wait to get my hands on both of those. Very excited. I'm also very excited for potentially the Strength of the Few. Like I mentioned, The Will of the Many was my favorite this year. Second one is supposed to be coming out. I think if you look on Goodreads, it says maybe May or something of this year, but there's really no other details and there's not as much information as there is like for Onyx Storm or Sunrise on the Reaping. So I'm not sure about Strength of the Few. I've heard very little things about it. So that could obviously get pushed back. But I'm hoping it comes out. And I'm also looking forward to Glorious Rivals. That is Jennifer Lynn Barnes, comes out in the summer. It's a continuation on in the Inheritance Games world. So there was the Inheritance Games trilogy, and now there's like another game and new cast of characters, and there was a first one in that newish series this year. Second one comes out in, I think it's July. Looking forward to that for sure. I would love to be looking out for another Sarah J. Maas book. If it comes out, I will get it. Who knows where she is on her schedule? I don't know that that's happening this year, but if it did, I will be there. And as far as witchcraft books, I am looking forward to Magic of the Home, Slow Magic, and Wealth Witchery. All three of those are going to be coming out in the successive months, and I am looking forward to all three of those. But there's actually a lot on my list. I'm kind of looking at what's coming from Crossed Crow and Llewellyn, and I'm like, oh man, there's so many. I don't want to buy anything this year, but books, man, books get me all the time. I love them too much. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Let me know in the comments what you are looking forward to in 2025. Now then, let's talk about my particular goal planner. So this is the undated, always fully booked planner from Little Inklings, and I will put the Little Inklings website down below as well so you can check it out, because the undated version is available all the time. She does have dated versions as well, and the notebook style that I was using this year was also from Little Inklings. So a lot of options. I have no idea if the 2025 ones are still available or not, but I know that these are always around. I went with the undated just because I like it better than the designs that were available for 2025, and just the way that it's set up, I feel like this one will be a little more useful to me. So what we're going to do is flip around to the desk, and I'm going to show you the top-down view, and inside I've got 8 reading-related goals. So let's go to it. I definitely feel like I've got the tripod at a bit of a precarious angle here, but we are going to go with it anyway, so just wish me luck. So here is what the planner looks like. I've got a bookmark in there. It's got a nice strap on it. You have this dates to remember page. I know a lot of people use this for books that are coming out and publication dates. I have no idea what I'm going to use it for yet. Important info, space to make your star rating system, most anticipated books, which I still need to fill out because I just named them all to you, and a legend here. And then you have a space for 8 goals. Now I separated this out to just do my reading goals in here, and I have separate goals for the year related to, the rest of my life that I'll be keeping track of elsewhere. This is just for my reading. So, clearing my TBR is the first one on there, and that is a massive goal because right now I think it's at like 55 books. And yes, I read over 200 books this year, so 55 doesn't seem like that much. However, everything that's still on my TBR list is almost all of them are epic fantasy. I don't think there's a single book on my list that is less than 500 pages, and I would say most of them are close to 700 or 800. So they're substantial. Everything that's still on my TBR is substantial. Next goal is to complete 3 reading challenges, and I mean 3 of the ones that are in here, so we will get to those. Finish or DNF all open series because I have so many of them. Like this past year, for example, I read Mistborn. I read the very first one, and I have not finished that. There are 4 more books that came out, or I think one's still coming out, in the Red Rising series. I want to read those. I either need to commit and get them done, or I need to accept that I do not want to read them and take them off of my TBR. I would like to read and review here in my planner and on this channel 120 books. So that is less than I did this year. Usually I don't put a number goal on things because I don't need a number goal. I don't need help reading nothing. I don't need to push in that area. I already do it. So 120 is, I think, how many fit in here. You'll see in the coming pages. But I also think that that is a decent amount of 10 books a month to give like dedicated reviews to, not just like speed through, but actually take my time with, especially if I'm going to be doing those longer fantasy books that are all on my TBR. This one we've already talked about, being more decisive in my ratings. We're going to see 1 stars, we're going to see 5 stars, hopefully all 5 stars, but we know how that goes. But I am going to get out of that 3-star box that I'm currently in. I would like to try more audiobooks. I'm not very good at audiobooks because I have focus problems when it comes to just listening to books, but I feel like with some of my other goals that I have, like that are fitness related, if I'm going to be spending a bunch of time on the treadmill, it might be really good to listen to an audiobook. Like I said, really bad focus issues when it comes to audiobooks, but I would at least like to try. Request last on NetGalley should be self-explanatory. I just get so excited because everything looks good, and then I request a bunch, and then I get approved for a bunch, and then I have 15 that are sitting there that like all need to be read and reviewed in the next week, and then I get overwhelmed, and that is my own fault because on NetGalley they say like an 80% return rate, so you don't have to like review everything, and it'll just show publishers what your rate is of like how often you follow through and review everything, and 80% is a good, to aim for. I think it will surprise none of you to know that I'm at 100%. I review every single one of them that I am approved for, so that's kind of my own fault. And then my last one on here is to reread Throne of Glass. I have read and reread all of my other Sarah J. Maas series. Throne of Glass is the only one that I've only read once. So I would like to do it again. I do own it, so that's fine. I can. However, I have been putting that one off because it is my favorite out of the 3, out of ACOTAR and Crescent City and Throne of Glass. Throne of Glass, I remember being my favorite, and also the most emotionally damaging. So I don't necessarily know that I am prepared to read that again. I have to like be mentally ready for that, and I haven't been. I would like to, because this was on my goals list for 2024 and it didn't happen. So I would like to do it in 2025. We'll see. All right. Here's the reading checklist in which I have started listing out everything that I've got on my TBR on Goodreads. It's not everything, but as you can see, it is a lot of like the series. Some of them I want to start, like Ashes of the Sun, Blood of the Chosen, Emperor of Ruin, that series. I own them. I haven't read them yet. Same with Memory Called Empire. Obviously, Onyx Storm, Sunrise of the Reaping, Strength of Few, just talked about. This is the rest of that Red Rising series. Glorious Rivals I talked about coming out. Flamefall and Fury Song, I read that first one. I love a good dragon book, so I have to get the other 2. Oathsworn Legacy I'd love to do. So you've got some monsters. Reign and Ruin. Vow of Embers is the second one. I just talked about this in my reading wrap-up, reading A Tribute of Fire. I want to read the second one. It does not come out until like the fall. Thursday Murder Club I keep hearing about, so I want to read that. I still have not read The House in the Cerulean Sea. That's one that's like not in my general genres, but people seem to love it, so I'd like to try it. Lies of Black Mora. Way of Kings. Way of Kings is 1,000 pages, so that's why it has been sitting on my TBR. We're going to see about that. This season, Oathbound, I would still like to fill these out. And in The last version of this planner that I was using, I was just filling these pages out as I read stuff and would write it down, check it off, put the star rating. But this time I am writing the books ahead of time, and then I am going to check them off as I read them. I have a great page here to fill out and color in. I don't know if I'm going to get to that. Not very artistic. Book series tracker, I'm going to be making use of this page because I need to finish or DNF a lot of series. Also a movie tracker. I'm not one for watching movies or TV much at all, but I might this year watch some more things, and then I will have space to track them. Quotes I would like to make use of because I read a lot on Kindle and I highlight things so they like show up on my Goodreads profile that I highlighted a bunch of quotes, but it would be nice to have some place to like fill them in. And I've got a wish list here for books, bookish items, space for my 5-star reads. I hope I have lots of them. And then you've got these 12 here that you could use for whatever you want. The best book of each month. If you run a book club, you can do the book club pick of the month. And here's where we get into the challenges. So we have the A to Z challenge, obviously starts with the letter. Book starts with the letter listed here. And then she has specifics for X and Z and what you could do for those. The fully booked challenge is all sorts of different ideas. A book inspired by mythology, the final book in a series, a book with your favorite trope. Got the on the cover challenge. So this is what is actually on the cover of the books. A bridge, illustrated people, birds, reading rainbows. So obviously the color would match the color of the books. Genre reading challenge, through the ages challenge, and then around the world challenge. So I would like to complete 3 of these. It's going to be one of the first 3. These pages are in my current one as well. I do not read all of these genres. I am not going to. I am not going to read poetry and classics because I am already well versed in how I feel about those, and it's not good. And I am also not going to do a read through the ages because I don't like historical books and I don't like historical fiction either. So I will not be doing those as a challenge. But I do like the reading rainbow, the on the cover. It's just like fun way to keep track of what you're reading. I would like to complete 3 of these, but I am not going out of my way to make something work. It's just if they already do, all of the things on my TBR already fit within here, then that will be awesome. And then you have the actual goal tracking page where you can check these off. And here it goes up to 126, but I believe in the back where you have these like review spots, it goes up to 120. So that's why I picked 120 as a number. You have Battle of the Books. So you can do, again, there's 12 here. You could do best of the month or your 5-star reads, whatever it is, to find your best book of the year. This is blank. You can use it for whatever you want, whether that is pages read a day or anything like that. I started this year doing pages read a day, and I just did not keep up with it because I don't need to. It's just not something that I need to track. I do read a ton. I do read a ton every single day. So I don't feel the need to track those particular stats. You have the monthly reading stats and the genre tally. You have these dot grid pages where you can make your own key for genres read, books format breakdown, and star rating breakdown, and fill those out in graph form and do your own graph here, and then you get a couple more blank pages to do whatever you would like with. And then you get into the first month spread. This is a sticker over it, so it is undated, and I filled in all those little dates for January. Most anticipated book is, of course, Onyx Storm. It is like right at the end of the month, so I'm not going to read it in January, but I am anticipating it coming out. Oh, there it is. January 25th it comes out. So it has the books to read of what you're going to prioritize for the month, any new releases that are coming out. I've got the bookmark here, and then it has week of, and you fill in the dates, and it's Monday through Sunday on every week. And then on this page, you have space for however you would like to use these different boxes. So this is how the box is set up in my current version of this, and I always use it as a to-do list, so you can see that like I've already was like starting to fill it out. I wanted to remember that I was going to be on zone 3 for my cleaning. And then at the end of the month, you get these wrap-up pages. So you have the bookish haul page. So that is like any books or book-related items that came in. But as you will see or have already seen. I don't know which video is going up first, but one of, my goals is to continue watching my spending and not buy things this year. So I am planning on using this page for all of my purchases because I am not going to have more purchases than this in a month. I am determined. And you've got your reading wrap up here, so you can list out all of the books that you read, all of your reading stats, best book, genres, some blank pages here, and then again into the next month, and you get the same setup. And then at the end here, you have the regular December, but then you also get some quarterly pages after each quarter, and then at the end of the year, you have your full reading wrap-up pages to fill out. More coloring pages, and then you get into the review pages, and I believe this is what there are 120 of. So you have all of this space to fill out: title, author, start and finish, star rating, and area for your thoughts, all of that. And then at the very back, you just get some lined blank pages. So that's my planner overview. That's my goals. I will be continuing in the next 2 weeks to fill this out and get my full TBR on here so I know what I'm reading, prioritizing. Especially starting in January, I tend to read the most at the beginning of the year. I think a lot of people do, just because there's not as much going on in January, February, March. There's not as much, going outside, going out of the house, not as many activities going on. There's no holidays. So I think that a lot of people do a good amount of reading in January and February. I am no exception. So I want to get everything ready by then. That's my planner, my goals overview. Let me know what your reading related goals are for 2025, and let me know which books that you are looking forward to that you think I should also put on my reading list. That's everything for this video. I will see you in the next one.